Hey everybody, Green Films Official here, and before we get into this video, I just want to say, film I am talking about came out like 3 months ago or something, and normally I'd say something like, ooh, this film came out a while ago, and I think from this point onwards, I'm gonna stop saying stuff like that. The simple reason being that I feel it often just kind of interrupts the video to make an obvious point. And also, you know what? This is my channel. I talk about things when I want to talk about them. Anyways, the film we're talking about today is Alien Romulus. I really love the Alien franchise. I think it's probably my favorite horror franchise just in general. Alien is one of my top 20 movies ever. There's nothing I dislike about it. It's perfect. Aliens is my favorite horror sequel ever. Alien Isolation is my favorite movie tie-in game ever, which I guess to be fair, movie tie-in games aren't held to an incredible standard. They're kind of notoriously bad for the most part, but trust me, Alien Isolation is kind of a masterpiece. I just love the Alien universe and its grand scope and wonder and awe, and I love the xenomorph creature. It's one of my favorite monster designs ever. It's so cool. It's like, the way it behaves, the way the species functions, like, you get the sense that it's believable as a fictitious species that would live as a natural part of this universe, while still functioning beautifully as a weird, gross, slimy horror movie monster. Oh, it's so good. And Ellen Ripley. It's Ellen Ripley, dude. It's like one of the best characters in all of fiction. The Alien franchise is like prestige horror for me, and I was very excited when I heard the news that Alien Romulus was sort of bringing the franchise back to its roots. So, does it succeed as a modern Alien film, or does it fall into some of the trappings of a lot of legacy sequels nowadays? Set between Alien and Aliens, Alien Romulus is the story of Rain and her adoptive robot brother Andy. Rain and Andy basically live on a mining colony owned by Weyland-Yutani, so life is pretty miserable. Rain has hopes of escaping the planet, and luckily for her, she may have the chance. A group of people she knows have found out that there's an inactive Weyland-Yutani space station orbiting the planet, and that they can steal cryostasis equipment from it, which can help them survive the trip to a much more idyllic planet. But you know Weyland-Yutani and their fascination with xenomorphs, so unfortunately for our heroes, there are a bunch of facehuggers on the station. And I'm sure you can guess where the story goes from there. Now, something funny I just want to bring up. This film is directed by Fede Alvarez, who also made a film called Don't Breathe, and the plot of that film centers around a bunch of thieves who try and rob this old blind guy because they think it's going to be real easy, but it turns out he's mega dangerous. I just think it's funny how similar the two plot lines of these movies are. It's not a criticism, I just think it's funny. Now, something Alien Romulus gets really, really right is that it is tense. This shit gets your heart going. I don't know if I would go as far as to say this film, like, deeply scared me, because I would like to consider myself a pretty hardened horror fan at this point in my life. But it was really, like, thrilling. It grabs you by the throat and does not let go until the credits. I think this film, like, when it does use CGI, it makes really good use of it to create, like, engaging and memorable set pieces. Like, there's this really, great bit where, like, the facehuggers are chasing our main characters down a hallway. The last, like, 30 minutes of this film go in a pretty horrific direction that, involve a pregnant woman who is amongst the team. That's all I'm gonna say. If you know what I'm talking about, you know. As is tradition with the Alien franchise, the production value is really, really high. The sets, the props, the effects, everything, the CGI, it's all, like, really stellar, like, really high A+ level shit. It's an amazing looking film. There are some shots here that, dare I say, are on the same level as Christopher Nolan's Interstellar. So that was really great to see. Truth be told, as much as I love low budget horror, I really want more like big budget horror like this, because like, I don't know, just think of like the really great cosmic horror films we could get, or just like the amount of imaginative stuff that could get made. But I know why we don't. It's because horror is easy to make on a smaller budget, so Hollywood often exploits that to generate films that, regardless of how well they do, they're gonna make twice their budget. But you know, a man can dream. There's another terrific scene that makes use of both zero gravity and the xenomorphs like acid blood, where Rain has to like float around in the air and not like avoid getting like messed up by the aliens' acid blood. So that scene was very creative. Loved that. The way this film is shot is super immersive. It often feels like you're right there with these characters as they experience these terrible things. It gives these scenes like a feeling of immediate danger and urgency. Focusing on story and characters for a bit, I really loved all the stuff with Andy. Being an android or a synthetic, whatever you want to call him, same thing. Some people in the group don't fully see him as human. To them, he's just a machine. So like maybe someone will say something and they feel like it hurts his feelings and they like feel bad. But then someone else in the group is like, oh, he's an android. He doesn't have any feelings. But like it very clearly does affect Andy. Like he does feel things. So it creates this like really interesting look into what is and isn't a person. Because, like, sure, he's not, like, a born human, but, like, he has feelings. Like, he can be hurt emotionally. So, you know, like... And the film does a great job at showing us who he is as a person through his relationship with Rain. He very clearly cares for her, and it's a likable dynamic. It's an example of this film using a pre-existing idea in the Alien universe and building upon that to tell a compelling human story, and I love that. But while I love the stuff with Rain and Andy, I kind of have my qualms with how Alien Romulus tells its story on the whole. It's not inherently flawed or anything, the story works fine, but it doesn't allow for much originality. It's kind of just a story that leads to humans getting attacked by xenomorphs again, which, like, I know some people have their issues with Ridley Scott's prequels, and I do too. With some of the storytelling choices they decide to go with. But, you know, what you can't discredit them for, or at least you can't discredit Prometheus for, is that, you know, they're going in an original direction. I don't know, I didn't need anything wildly different. Like, I'm happy for it to just be xenomorphs attacking people again. But I guess I just wanted to get, like, a broader look at the Alien universe. I was kind of excited at the start when they were at the mining colony because I thought we were going to get a broader look at the Alien universe. But they're only really there for about 10-15 minutes before they then go up to the space station. So I don't know, it felt less like a broader look at the Alien universe and more just like a glimpse. It was kind of just a tease. We didn't get as much of that as I would have wanted. Like, I praised Rain and Andy, and I do like those characters, but outside of them, our cast of characters here aren't super memorable. Like, there's an Asian lady that I remember because she's the one who gets chest bursted. And the pregnant lady I remember because the last 30 minutes. But, like, I don't remember those characters because of them. I remember them because of events surrounding them. But yeah, and I guess what I wanted was just more of their day-to-day lives. See how they live, their routines, learn more about who they are as people. So then once they start getting torn apart and eaten by xenomorphs, I feel more, I guess. And I know I said this film is, like, thrilling, and that's because it is, but I think that's more because I like Rain and Andy, and I don't want them to die more than I care about any of the other guys. And that's a shame. I think the thing is, like, maybe a lot of, like, more modern genre films, they want to get to, like, you know, the selling point quicker. They want to get to the monsters faster. They want to have as little as the boring part as possible. But I think, me personally, I think there's value in the boring part. I think the boring part the boring part is what grounds us in this world. It's how we learn to like these characters and know them as people. I don't know. I think unless like you're going for like a David Lynch's Eraserhead, where the point is that the entire world is dark and twisted, like down to every last detail, then I think you need some more like normalcy, so that there's a stronger contrast with the horror, and so that the horror is more effective. And it goes back to my point earlier that it would also allow you to show us another part of the Alien universe that we haven't really seen that much of before. Now, moving on from that, I think I can only talk about this film for so long without bringing up the CGI resurrected elephant in the room. Partway through the film, they come across an android named Rook, who looks exactly like Ash in the first Alien. Ian Holm, who plays Ash in the first Alien, is dead, so they could have Rook. They like did a CGI reconstruction of his face, and this is a very hot topic in discussion for this film. People, like a lot of people, not only think it looks sort of and veers into the uncanny valley, but that it's also disrespectful to Ian Holm's legacy. And I don't know if I would go as far as to say that it's disrespectful to his legacy, but I don't think it's a necessary decision. I can see why they did it, because like the Bishop androids all look the same, so like who's to say like they also can't have like an Ash model of android that all look the same. But I don't think you needed it, and it ties into another problem I have with this film that I'm gonna get more into later. So yeah, I don't necessarily hate that there's an android here that looks exactly like Ash, but I think it could have been handled better. I know. I guess what I'm trying to say is, while it doesn't bother me personally, I can see why it bothers other people, and I think that there are alternative things they could have done to avoid that. But I think the number one reason why they decided to go this route was probably my personal biggest problem with this film, the member berries. Remember in Alien 1 when Ash said, "I won't lie to you about your chances, but you have my sympathies"? Remember how in Aliens Ripley says, "Get away from her, you bitch"? Well, now Andy is gonna say that in his own scene where he saves Rain. And it's like, I know you're trying to get me to do the Leonardo DiCaprio, but like, I'm not a child. I don't need you to dangle keys in front of me. I think the "get away from her, you bitch" moment particularly bothers me, because that moment felt like really earned in Aliens, because you get to see Ripley's relationship with Newt grow, and she almost like starts to care for Newt as a mother. So when she's like in danger from the Queen Xenomorph and she suits up and is like, "Get away from her, you bitch," it feels fierce. It feels like the film is almost sort of building up to that. And here, when it happens in Alien Romulus, it feels more like it's trying to get you to go, "Oh, he said the thing that Ripley said in Aliens," and it didn't work for me. It's like, it's the kind of writing that doesn't feel organic to the universe. It feels like it feels like more like a corporate decision than like a what would make sense for the universe. Now, thankfully, it's not like a big issue. It's like relegated to a couple lines, so you could say, why am I making like a big thing about this at all? But it's just that when this sort of thing goes unchecked, it can sort of get out of control, and I don't want it to like set a precedent for later legacy sequels. I think what I want to see from legacy sequels is less like callbacks, less like they feel like they're tethered to the original, and more bringing the ideas of the original to tell their own stories, to push the ideas further. I've been critical to this movie, but that's because I love it overall, really. From a purely audio-visual standpoint, this is a really incredible Alien experience, and the last 30 minutes, again, wink wink if you haven't seen the film, is genuinely incredible. Just not only an incredible addition to the Alien franchise, but just the last 30 minutes on their own are highly effective as a piece of horror on their own. You can see this film reaching for the stars to push the Alien franchise forward, but it's still somewhat kind of shackled by its desire to still feel like connected to the other Alien films. And the story is a bit more basic than I think it could have been. I think they could have gone a little further with the story here. What I'm hoping for is that this film serves as a springboard for more stories in the Alien universe that explore, like, I guess, more unexplored territory, uncharted waters. I want to see more of this incredible universe. I want to see what else can be done with it narratively, you know? Because I love seeing xenomorphs run around in spaceships and space stations, but I know there's more you could do with this universe than that. Show us more colonies. Maybe you could show us like a fully functioning city. You could show us all sorts of interesting alien planets with their own unique flora and fauna. Maybe what I'm thinking is stupid, but I don't know. I just think Alien Romulus just gives us a tiny glimpse into a wider world in this universe, and I just like to see it explored more. But yeah, tangent aside, I think the best way of summarizing how I feel about Alien Romulus is that it sort of encapsulates both the best and the worst aspects of legacy sequels. It uses pre-existing ideas to build engaging new ones, and it you know, uses its more modern technology and effects to create like really tense situations that you couldn't really do back in the 70s in the 80s. But it also falls into some of the trappings of legacy sequels, as in like not really giving us an old, new, or super interesting story, and also falling into the old member berries. Oh, remember this line of dialogue, remember this place, oh, that sort of thing. But the good stuff is like really, really good. It's like A grade level, like top of the chain. So I think that ultimately prevents this film from just being okay and elevates it to being pretty damn good in overall. My relationship with this film is more complicated than I thought it was in hindsight, but I do really like this movie overall. Just please expand the Alien universe more. I think that would be sick. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed my Alien Romulus review discussion thing. If you did, please be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. You can also find written reviews of mine on all sorts of websites like Letterboxd, Backlogged, Serialized, and Goodreads. I also post to Instagram occasionally. There's a lot of stuff about my cat on there. So if you feel so inclined, you can go and check those out as well. And I think with all that said, that's about everything I have in store for you today. So I hope to see you in the next one, lovely people. Bye-bye!